makasaysayang hapon po sa ating lahat. So this is great work. I already gave you your Google Drive. So this is where you are going to submit the tawag dito, all the requirements that are pertinent to my class. So you all know that this is 33.33% of your grade, which is 1/3 of your grade in great works. So of course, because of that, I will have my own set of rules in this class. So you have to go back to them. But first of all, I guess I have to introduce myself to you. I am Michael Charleston Chua. People call me Xiao. I'm from the Department of History, De La Salle University, Manila. I've been here for about 11 years now. Is it? Well, 2008. No, 13 years. 13 years na ako sa La Salle. My first job was in UP, Diliman, as in the history department there. And I graduated my BA and MA history and now currently taking my doctorate in anthropology in UP as well. So my main preoccupation in life is to basically bring history closer to the people through my public work. So that means media work, interviews, and all of that. Ano ba? Yeah, I was just to give you my work relating to the Katipunan. I am author of a children's book which updates the life of Andres Bonifacio to many readers. Bayani Biographies Andres Bonifacio. And I was also consultant for the teleserye Katipunan, GMA7. And I co-authored also a book called Bonifacio, Ang Unang Pangulo. So this is my preoccupation in life, is to bring history closer to the people. You can call me Sir Xiao. Okay, I'll just screen share the document that I wanted you to download. You can reach me actually through Canvas. It's better to reach me through Canvas if you have something to say. But I also hope that you already have groupings. For this part of the triad, this is 1/3 of your grade. I only have two requirements. One is participation, which is participation in both synchronous and asynchronous classes, 50%, and the class magazine, which you're going to give me towards the end of our triad, meaning just for the Katipunan, okay, 50%. So, yun, basically yun. Meron lang akong rules, basahin nyo lang. Ano bang oras na? Pwede pa. Para may points agad. So sige, pa-rules lang tayo, no? Ito yung classroom law. So sige, pabasa tayo para may points. O sino gusto mag-volunteer? Raise hand lang, raise hand. Tapos sunod-sunodin natin. Mr. Wong, number 1.
Salamat po, sir. Salamat.
Abuhay.
Sa classroom, may dalawang pinakabatas, effort at respeto. Kung ipapakita ang mga ito, papasa ka sa klaseng ito.
So wala namang babagsak, wala naman akong balak ibagsak sa inyo. No? Basta ipakita nyo na may effort, ginagawa nyo yung mga dapat nating gawin, and may respeto sa inyong classmate, sa akin, syempre, at sa inyong classmate. Sige. Sino next? Raise hand lang para tatawagin ko na lang. Balawing.
Kapag synchronous session, panatilihin ang maayos na pananamit.
Oo. Tulad mamaya, kaso hindi. Next meeting na lang tayo ano tawag doon? Next meeting na lang tayo
on cam, sir.
On cam. kailangan magkaroon tayo ng class picture kahit minsan. At sana medyo kompleto tayo. So, yan. Number 3,
Wala
Buwa.
kasi yung raise hand, lugi ako, sir.
Ano ka? Wala kang ano?
Walang raise hand yung sa akin.
Walang raise hand yun sa'yo? Sino
Wala.
ka ba?
Secret, joke lang, sir.
Hindi kita makita.
Hoven, sir.
Hoven. Miss Puwa, si Hoven muna. Okay lang ba?
Yun.
Sir, ako na muna.
Sige. Number...
Ladies first.
Sige, sir, ladies first.
Tatawagin din kita. Oo. Hindi,
Ladies
okay lang,
Kapag-
Hoven.
Okay.
Nakakalimutan ko Wala kang raise hand I-raise mo lang yung hand mo, Puwa. Yung ibang gusto, mag-raise na rin ng hand. Hoven.
Number 3, sir.
Yeah.
As kapag synchronous session, ugaliing mag-mute liban na lamang kung nais magsalita. Makinig ng maigi sa diskusyon.
Sige. Si Miss Puwa.
Hi, sir. Number 4 po.
Hi.
Kapag synchronous session, panatilihin na ang pinag-uusapan sa public chat ay may kinalaman sa klase.
Oo. Hindi naman kayo nag-uusap sa public chat. So, sa ibang mga klase kasi ginagawang chismisan yung... Mr. Parang kanina may nagtaas. So sige, si Atayde muna. Mr. Atayde. Number 5.
Sumama sa diskusyon, synchronous man o asynchronous, bawat pakikibahagi ay idadagdag sa iyong grado sa partisipasyon. Ito ang magsisilbing attendance, pumasok sa discussion ng handa at nakapagbasa.
Salamat. Ang tuwa ko? Tama ba?
Yes po, sir. So number 6, tapusin sa itinakdang panahon ang mga preo. Bibigyan kayo ng sapat na panahon.
Thank you. Miss Hernandez.
Ang bawat isa sa grupo ay responsable na panatilihing nakatutulong sa gawain ng pangkat ang isang kasapi. Ngunit kung talagang ayaw, pakisabi sa akin upang makausap ko rin.
Ganito Hindi pwedeng bibigyan ko lang. Kunwari, hindi nagtrabaho yung leader namin. Kasi hindi ko siya kakausapin about it. Kung gusto nyong mag-away-away kayo, di syempre sasabihin ko siya, sabi ng mga classmate mo, di ka nagtatrabaho. Huwag kayong yung ibig sabihin, kung pwedeng i-resolve nyo muna among yourselves, i-resolve nyo. Yun lang, totoo to. May mga pagkakataon na talagang sinasabihan na hindi talaga nagtatrabaho. Pero talagang, ganun, hindi ko mabibigay yung kasi ang magagawa ko lang dyan, bawasan siya ng grades participation. So, doon ko ilalagay yung yung galit ko sa kanya. Ganun. Ang problema kasi dyan, pag grade ng isa, grade ng lahat. Yun yung supposedly. No? At ako, hindi naman ako madamot sa group grade. Hindi ako madamot dyan. No? Pag maayos naman. Pero minsan, yun na nga, kailangan group effort talaga. Ngayon, sino susunod? Gamboa, tama, no? Mr. Gamboa.
Hi, sir. Yes, sir. Kung nais may itanong sa profesor upang kagyat na makatanggap ng kasagutan, pwede itong iparating sa pamamagitan ng group leader. Kung privado ang kailangang iparating, gamitin ng messaging sa Animo Space.
Canvas, tama. Lee.
Sa PowerPoint, maging sa mga sanaysay at mag-asin, gumamit ng wikang Filipino. Sa pagsasalita, gamitin ng wikang komportable kayo.
Yeah. Wala naman tayong report, no? In general yan. Okay. Sige. Okay ka na, Mr. Gambo. Sino ang next? Isa na lang. Actually, meron pa pala 3. 2. Sige. Sino pang gusto? Si Miss Relova.
Pagtala sa bawat panayam o talakayan sa klase, mas maigi kung mayroong kwaderno para sa klaseng ito. Hindi nyo maalala lahat ng sasabihin ko.
Well, may recording. Pero alam nyo, sa totoo lang, kahit may handout, kahit may recording, ito secret para maging makapagpanggap ng matalino. Tulad ko. Hindi ako, di ba sabi nung, ano yung kanta nun? Yung kahit hindi gwapo, kahit hindi gwapo, kahit na di matalino. O, pareho akong ganun eh. Hindi gwapo, hindi matalino. Pero, nauto ko silang lahat. Bakit? Kasi nagno-notes ako. When you take notes, yung sinusulat mo talaga o kaya tinatype mo sa ano, no? Nagkakaroon kasi ng interaction between yung dinidiscuss, tapos pupunta sa utak mo, dumadaan sa utak mo, tapos sinusulat mo. So, for example, if you want to review, no, mas madali yung retention kapag ka nagno-notes. So yan ang payo ko sa inyong feeling ko mapapakinabangan nyo sa buhay. Tignan nyo naman, di ako gwapo, hindi ako matalino. Pero, sumikat ako ng konti. No? So, konti lang naman. Konti. Yung iba hindi ako kilala, pero pag nakilala nyo na ako, makikita nyo na pakalat-kalat ako kahit. You only have to know Xiao Chua exists and you will see him everywhere. No? Kalat-kalat, pakalat-kalat. O, sige. Anyway, dito tayo sa yan, sa ibang dapat malaman. Sino gustong magbasa? Ala? Ayan, may chat. Sino to? Bakit kaya wala kayong raise hand, ano? Si Josea Isabel Manyala. Si Bambo ba, kamag-anak mo ba siya?
Hindi daw po.
Okay.
Ang bawat synchronous session ay i-record ng professor kung ilalabas man niya ang recording sa YouTube. Tanging pagsasalita niya lamang ang pwedeng ilabas. Pero pag sinabing nag-comply na ipagpaalam at inaayos sa klase o sa kinauukulan, ay pwede na pala itong ilabas.
Familiar ba sa'yo yung binasa mo?
Hindi po, sir.
Hindi familiar sa'yo? Sayang naman. Ikaw, Melo, ba familiar ba sa'yo yun?
Sir?
Familiar sa'yo yung binasa niya? Pero pag sinabing walang nakagets.
Sample na lang, sir, sample.
Ganun ba? Inuuto mo ba ako? Sa classroom may batas. Bawal lumabas o bawal lumabas. Pero pag sinabing ano yung pag? Aso yun eh. Diba? Inayos mo yung law ng classroom nyo at sinabit mo ulit. Ay, pwede na pala ikaw lumabas. Actually, nung ginawang kanta, it made sense. Diba? Nung sinasabi ni Kim Chu, parang it doesn't make sense. Tapos nagka-redeem. Ayun pala yun. Diba? Inayos mo yung law ng classroom nyo at binalik mo ulit. Ay, pwede na pala ikaw lumabas. Whatever. So, may data privacy kasi tayo. So, hindi ako basta-basta pwedeng lalo na kung may images nyo. Kung ako lang nagsasalita, walang problema. Pero kung may images nyo, kailangan ipagpaalam ko sa inyo. Kasi may YouTube channel tayo. So, para masaya. Okay, next. Last na lang, lahat ng gagamiting PowerPoint.
Sir, I could read.
Yeah, please. Sino
Okay.
yun? Si Robles.
Okay. Lahat ng gagamiting PowerPoint, larawan, video, Word file at iba pang soft copies na ginamit o may kinalaman sa klase ay isusumit sa Google folder na i-anunsyo sa ating unang announcement.
Yes.
Lalagay na file name ay Great Work 2021B section group number -topic.
Ayun, tama, no? And then hindi great work yan, ha? Great work. Great work. Hindi ko alam kung great work yun. Great week siguro, dakilang lampa. Kung may dakilang lampa, kasi great week eh. Masyado namang discriminating sa PWD. Kasi kung may dakilang lumpo, si Apolinario Mabini yun, di ba? Yan. Sige. So, thank you po dito sa pagbasa ninyo. Okay, ganito po. Magbibigay pala ako sa inyo ng link dun sa readings natin. So, basically, nasa isang lugar lang naman lahat yung readings natin. Mga akdang Katipunan. Ayan. Teka lang, sige, makakasi. Mahirap na kapag pinakita ko sa inyo sinesearch ko kasi baka kung ano yung lumabas dun sa search engine. Anyway, so ito po yung mga akdang Katipunan na hanapin nyo yan sa Google. Tapos may makikita kayo, Great Works o Great Week, dakilang lampa. Second term, 2020-2021. Yan, mga akdang Katipunan. So, nandyan po lahat yung readings natin. Lalagay ko na lang din yan doon sa ating announcements. So, teka, pati dito sa search, lagay ko na rin. Dito sa search, dito sa chat. Saan pa yung chat natin? Nakashare ako, di ba? Hindi ko makita yung chat. Ayun. So, ito po. Ayan. So, nandyan po lahat yung readings natin. And babasahin ko lang po yung ating yung ating rationale, no? Power and social order. Mga akdang Katipunan. So, by the way guys, no, meron pa tayong meron bang pwedeng magkwento sa akin ng kaunti? Ano yung pinag-usapan nyo doon sa last term? Last triad na. Sige nga. Kahit ano lang, brief remarks. Sige, bibigyan ko ng +2. Ang makapagsagot. +2.
So,
Yes.
So
Sino pa?
last term specifically?
No,
or,
not last
team?
meeting. Yung yung last na triad.
Last meeting. Okay.
Ano yung kinalaman ng
on
reading? Ano yung reading? Teka lang. Ano yung reading at ano yung kinalaman niya sa power at sa social order?
Sir, kasi yung nahihirapan ako sa Tagalog. Sir,
No problem, you can say it in English.
The reading was Enemy of the People, and it was it talks about how there was an abuse of power among the media and the government, well, the mayor specifically at yung there's also the problem with the people overreacting to bad news, etc., etc. Or alam mo naman yung ganun.
That's good. It's good that you said you told me about it because my part in our shall we say in the triad on power and social order is really more of the ideal. How do we avoid social disorder? And what should you do if you have power? And not just power. People have power as well. But how do you use that power? Diba? And if you have a leader, you have a power, how do you also use it? So, it is very important to know how our ancestors or how our Katipunan forebears imagined what we should be as a society, as a people. Okay? So basically, we're going to read selections from the works of Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto, and other Katipuneros. So, which will be collectively known as mga akdang Katipunan. So this is not single reading. We will read separate essays, but if taken into a whole, you will see a unity to it. a coherence. So I'm going to read to you the reading, the rationale. So after toppling the 300 years of Spanish colonialism and attaining power, what's next? Contrary to popular belief that Andres Bonifacio and the Katipunan were mindless poor people who only wanted to wage a violent revolution against the conquerors, the Katipunan actually had a philosophy that teaches their members that mere revolution is not enough. A paradigm shift was needed. These works, despite being written by different people, mainly by Andres Bonifacio and Emilio Acito, was single-minded in spirit. They wanted to alter the dependent mindsets of Filipinos and replace it with a clear and more Filipinized concept of the nation, an inang bayan, which unlike Western conceptualization as mere political freedom, was more holistic as it takes into consideration identity, morality, and economy. That we are not able to measure up presently to the ideals of the Katipunan is indicative of the historical truth that the revolution was hijacked, and it is up to the new generation to create a better country inspired and guided by our revolutionaries whose heroic deeds and patriotic writings helped create the Philippines. Jose Rizal once said, the slaves of today will be the tyrants of tomorrow. It is not enough to get away from tyranny and attain freedom and human rights, but one must know their role in attaining social order and how the state should use power and how the citizens can use freedom to reach humanity's full potential as an individual and as a society. So in this package, you will already have some of the materials that will be helpful to your study. Wait, I should link my YouTube channel here, not NHCP, so I will have the revenue. Anyway, I will give instructions also in the canvas. But the first thing that you're going to watch is Andres Bonifacio's documentary that I wrote. So you're going to, it's the National Historical Commission of the Philippines official state documentary on Andres Bonifacio. So you're going to watch that and you're going to comment on it. And then the first reading would be Hibik ng Pilipinas sa Inang Espanya, which will be followed. We will read this in class, which will be followed by Gising ng mga Tagalog. They're very short essays and poems. Andres Bonifacio, Ang Dapat Mabatid ng mga Tagalog. Andres Bonifacio, Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Bayan. Emilio Sintos, Pahayag. The National Anthem, Parangal na Dalit ng Katagalugan, the National Anthem of the Katipunan. And then the last two would be Emilio Sintos, Kartilya ng Katipunan and Dekalogo ng Katipunan. The readings can be accessed from here. This site from you would be linked in this site wherein you're going to, you can download the paper. Okay, so there you go. Sige. Now, maybe I would begin with some notes on how we got the documents before we leave. But before that, saglit. Ayun. Wait a minute, nakapig mainit. Great works. Okay, ganito. Every time I will call now the attendance, but every time I will call an attendance, can someone help me look at the chat? Because sometimes there's no mic and the chat is the only way they can communicate. So Every time I ask you to get the attendance, please volunteer if you want to read the chat for a point, for 1 point. Anyone wants to read the chat for a point? Participation.
I'll
Don't be
read it
shy.
along, sir.
Oh, Mr. Lee. Okay, very good. Mr. Lee, read the chat. But those who have microphone capacities, please, and this is the first time we're going to do the attendance. So please, hopefully, you can open your camera when you say present. Please do so. So now we're going to read the attendance. Ang tuwa ko, Daniel. Suki.
Present, sir.
Antonio Fernando Jose.
Present, sir.
Atayde Juan Gabriel.
Present, sir.
Balawing Mark Aaron.
Present, sir.
Baltasar Justin. Going once. Twice. Maria Nathan Mitchell.
Present, sir.
Bermejo Jose Martin Miguel.
Present, sir.
Chen Pib. Continuado Joshua Miguel. Domingo Julian Eric. The second.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Esa Jose Isabella Victoria.
Present, sir.
Gamboa John Luis.
Present, sir.
Garcia Eugene Michael.
Present, sir.
Go Dominic Lester.
Present, sir.
Hernandez Rachel Isabel.
Present, sir.
Joven Rodel Victor.
Present, sir.
Laya Leida Luis. Lee Joshua Machu.
Present, sir.
Lim Dejin. Manyalak Josea Isabel.
Present, sir.
Mendoza Kobe. Uwa Christine Chill.
Present, sir.
Belova Erin Maive. Is that Maive?
Nave po, sir. Present.
Maeve. Thank you. Robles Mark.
Present, sir.
Tablante Miguel Francis.
Present, sir.
Wong Kent Louis.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay, this is to just be brief. No? I just want to give you a backgrounder on the Katipunan works. I tell you something. If you're going to look at the history books in the Philippines, the Katipunan is, shall we say, there's difficulty in representing it. Why? Because before, we have only a few documents from the time of Andres Bonifacio's leadership of the Katipunan, before the revolution, even before him. There were other leaders of the Katipunan, and they were only able to produce about 10 documents, more or less, 10 documents that were now in the hands of a private collector. It was actually Epifanio de los Santos, a historian with whom EDSA was named. That's why kapag traffic sa EDSA, minumura nyo, isang historian doon. He collected these documents, and eventually they were turned over to her daughter, which eventually sold it to collectors. And the collectors recently actually sold these documents for millions of pesos in auction. So, the Decalogo ng Katipunan, for example, handwritten by Andres Bonifacio, there are just a few last letters to Emilio Jacinto and all of that. But eventually, the National Historical Commission of the Philippines requested in 2013 for the 150th birthday of Bonifacio some documents that it has in the Archivo General Militar de Madrid. And to the surprise of many historians, they actually have one caja, this is one caja of Katipunan documents, which they were able to scan and place in a CD. And eventually, we were able to get hold of these discs. Before that, Jim Richardson, this guy, was able to ayun. Jim Richardson was able to access these documents. You know, remember that before there was no scanning, so it was only photocopying and all of that. He was able to photocopy some of these works, some of these documents, and he was able to anong tawag doon? Transcribe them. Transcribe them transcribe them and then translated some of them into English. This became the Light of Liberty. So ito po yung hawak kong libro na nagtataglay ng mga documents, some of the documents, 70 documents. And actually, yung documents is numbering 150. So bigla, we have an idea about the Katipunan. These were confiscated by the Guardia Civil. That's why they're in the military archives of Spain. Archivo General Militar de Madrid. Archivo General Militar de Madrid. So this is the Light of Liberty. You don't have to buy this book. Jim Richardson uploaded all of the contents plus more in the website that I showed you earlier. So we will just be lifting from those from that website. So yun. And you will see that the name of the organization was not spelled out in any of the documents. Not spelled out. But it used to be called Kagalang-galang na Kataas-taasang Katipunan, which eventually became KKK NMANB. Kataas-taasang Kagalang-galang na Katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. And Katipunan was a revolutionary organization which eventually turned itself into a government by 1896 during the start of the Philippine Revolution. So KKK NMANB, Kataas-taasang Kagalang-galang, which is highest and most venerable. Katipunan means association of the sons of the people. Highest, most venerable association, Katipunan, of the sons of the people, ng mga anak ng bayan. Okay? This was the, ano tawag dito? Yung minutes of the meeting that was written by Andres Bonifacio himself. So you will see, have a very good handwriting. Another clarification should be made because our history books tell us that on July 7, after Jose Rizal was arrested, because Jose Rizal founded the La Liga Filipina on July 3. On July 6, he was arrested. July 7, Andres Bonifacio organized the Katipunan. And we now owe, and because of that, we owe Jose Rizal the reason why the Katipunan was founded. Now, this might not be incorrect. The Katipunan was formally founded on July 7, 1892. But because of one of the documents in the Archivo General Militar de Madrid called Kasaysayan, Pagsasaysay ng mga kadahilanan ng paghiwalay ng kapulang ito sa mga nag-aangking ina, it was dated January 1892, which is a few months before July 7, 1892. Enero 1892, which meant that the Katipuneros, even before Jose Rizal arrived in the Philippines, were already organizing, preparing to create an organization. So it was not true that the Katipunan was only founded because of Jose Rizal. They were already planning it months before. And in that first document, written January 1892, they already made their intentions clear. Sinasaysay na ang mga kapulong ito ay humihiwalay sa land, which is Spain. They do not want to mention it, it's secret. That's why they do not write their organization's full name ever, because it's secret. Magbuhat sa araw na ito, from now on, at walang kinikilala at kikilaling pampuno at nakapangyayari, kundi itong kataas-taasang Katipunan. We will not recognize any leader and powerful, but the highest Katipunan. What does that mean? It means that the Katipunan, on the onset, even before it was founded, already wanted to establish an independent government for the Philippines. When they revised their organizational setup, which was first laid in this document, kasaysayan, it was written in a different cipher. They have their own cipher so that the Spaniards will not be able to detect them. Eventually, they were detected, but they changed the cipher again. But in that, you will see that they have their own organizational setup. So this is not a simple revolutionary organization. They had a revolution. They have a setup. Wherein the Execom, the highest council, composed of president, treasurer, and fiscal and secretary, were the Execom, executive committee. Under them were the Sangguniang Bayan and the Sangguniang Balangay under the Sangguniang Bayan with the same setup, and the Sangguniang Balangay without any Sangguniang Bayan under them, above them. The presidents of all these Sangguniang Bayan with the kataas-taasang Sanggunian now becomes the highest assembly. So this is the executive, the Execom or the Supreme Council, but the Supreme Assembly is the highest decision-making body. So if you're going to look at it, the Katipunan already wanted democracy, okay? Democratic representation. And this Sangguniang Lihim is their judicial setup for their court. So there you go. This is where you see that the Katipunan is an organization who wanted to establish the nation. In the next few meetings, you will learn about Andres Bonifacio, the founder of the Katipunan, what he wanted, what he envisioned, and through his writings and his contemporaries' writings, you will be able to have a picture of what they wanted us to be. And in doing so, maybe, just maybe, we are able to contribute to the maintenance of social order and the effective use of power in our country today through the things that we do. Any questions? Having none, I would just like to say a few words before I leave you. Every time I say goodbye to you, I will always say, live each day one at a time. We are more busy during the pandemic. We are actually more busy in our Zoom on lockdown. So I do hope you will take each day one at a time. Take it slowly in a way. Relax, but be responsible. Festina lente, they said in Latin, or I don't know what language is that. Make haste slowly. The other thing I would like to tell you is, do not take yourself too seriously. A lot of the psychological problems that are happening is because people take themselves too seriously. Laugh at yourself. Chill. And be happy. Goodbye now and God love you. See you soon.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
See you next
Thank you,
meeting.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.